Hey everybody, Ryder Dude here. Welcome to Blue Collar Blitz. This is one in a series where I'm going to talk about tanks not necessarily because of the way they play, but more because of the way that they play differently after the equipment changes in Blitz 3.8. This before and after is all about the ARL-44, a Tier 6 heavy tank. Starting out with the ARL-44, I figured I needed a couple of warm-up runs. I lost one run badly before I started recording because I didn't preserve my health enough. But in the first two videos here, I'm going to be platooned with Spartacus Diablo, a friend from the Blitz forums. I got him to agree by first helping him with some of his Tier 7 missions. Little did he know. So this was a great warm-up. Winter Malinovka map. Look at the matchmaker. They have one heavy and 6 mediums. On green there are 3 heavies, 2 mediums, and 2 lights. It's a little more balanced, and let's see whether that actually has an effect on the way that this turns out. It turns out, well, hint, hint, hint. Anyway, because they only had one heavy tank, I figured that if we came up the hill, then odds were that we could either overwhelm the one heavy if he decided to go mill, or that he would have flanked, or maybe we could rely on red to be a little disorganized. Got up here to the top and got one person on green saying he was spotted. I was spotted as well. And I figured that they were all coming up the hill, but it turned out that they weren't. Now, I thought that the ARL was showing excellent mobility going up the hill. It seemed to be moving properly. It wasn't especially, sluggish, but it has been less than it's less than sprightly. Here I found this Cromwell out of position, so I figured I would come down and remind him to always be careful about who's on his left and who's on his right. But of course, I was ignoring the minimap at this point. Kids, don't do this at home. Pay close attention to your minimap. So I took a couple of long-range shots. This Panzer IV, unfortunately, was way out in the middle of nowhere. So I went ahead and Panzer V-4. Took a couple of shots. I'll keep clearing bad guys. That's fun. That's fine. At this point, because the battle was descending into kind of a free-for-all, it looked like we were well in control. I wasn't too worried. 3-1 lead at this point. Someone on the team got the fourth. Oh, it was the KV-2 that took him, and really at this point it was well in hand. Good teamwork. Generally a good effort. I'm not too upset with with this game when it works like this. But I was still trying to pay attention to the ARL-44 and how it was performing. I was surprised by how much bloom I was getting on the reticle. Every time I aimed, I was getting this gigantic reticle, and then it took forever for the aiming to refocus so that I could actually take a shot. This is something that you're going to see again in the next video. It just seemed like I was constantly driving with this gigantic aiming reticle. Anyway, we finished off here at Malinovka, and I was kind of, I guess when I got to the end of this and saw the statistics, I was a little surprised. I don't remember getting shot at by a heavy tank, but the red mediums pinned me 5 times out of 5 shots. I didn't bounce anything, and I don't know. I'm thinking that the medium penetration nerf is not that big a deal. We'll move to the next battle here. This is on Rockfield. I tend to go right. The team was going that way. I decided to be a little bratty because everybody's typing right chevrons into the team chat. So one of the things about this is the ARL is actually doing a reasonable job of rolling. You can see that it's just kind of it's at least able to keep up with the battle at this point. But I think that's mostly because it was a long, slow, relatively flat section. Look at the size of the reticle. I mean, my goodness, it's like shooting into space. And I think that's because I don't have a gun-laying drive on this tank anymore. I don't really have the ability to just kind of nail it down further. I just lobbed a shot that way and managed to get a hit. This has just been this was really difficult to watch this thing. And every single time that you move, that reticle. Look at it pop. Look how big it gets. In any case, I managed to get 2 shots off on the KV2 here. The second one was just a lucky, lucky hit on the side of his mantlet. So somebody else finished him off. Again, this battle was just really starting off well. It's 2-0 now, and I saw this VK down here. Now I pushed down, and because whenever they get into this ravine, if they're really aggressive, they can be troublesome. So I came down here, but this is not a ghost shot. I mean, there was a shot right at the 525 point, and when you go through it frame by frame, you actually see that it was not actually a ghost shot. It was just one of those things. KV2 actually managed to take out the guy here. I shot him for good measure, I guess. I'm not really sure what I was thinking. So in any case, at this point, this is the ARL 44's problem right now. It is just sluggish. It's just crazy sluggish. There's no opportunity really, unless you can get this tank rolling. It does not really have an ability to chase the battle. All I could do really was watch the battle, kind of resolving itself around me. That was a little frustrating. I was just sitting there with my my weird inaccurate gun and my incredibly sluggish tank, and just thinking, oh, I'll get it figured out. It'll be fine, really. Final battle was here on Canal. Spartacus Diablo was off the hook at this point. I was rolling solo. So because I knew I didn't have a platoon partner who would follow me, I decided to take the safer route. From start, as a heavy tank, you can just go right here over to this little rock pile over here on the on the far west side of the map. Sometimes you'll get the red team rolling up there. Sometimes you'll get the red team staying around the center, just by their spawn, and sometimes you can get the whole red team running off to the far side to engage with your lights and mediums. I was noticing a lemming train here in the, or sort of a lemming train in the mini-map, so I knew I had plenty of support. But here, nothing's spotted. I don't see anything. I use the M6 here as an overwatch, so that so that if something popped up, I would at least be able to react to it. Paused here, looked around, nothing. Still rolling. Now the funny thing for me is that I'm a big fan of doing things actively rather than sitting back and being passive. And this is one of the reasons that my survival rate over the 18,000 battles or something that I have is something like 38%. I don't survive as many battles as I should, because I tend to keep pursuing the battle. Okay, so I rolled out, got spotted. This T-14 for some reason just sat on the hill. Look at that reticle's bloom. It's So the second shot here cracked me up. I tried to lead him because he's not moving fast, but of all things, I'm just one track shooting fool, and I shot out his track, and somebody on my team finished him off. So I rolled out a little bit, thought that I would at least see if I could try to engage. It looked to me like red might have been a little disorganized here. So I came over here and watched my reticle bloom try to focus in. Got one shot on the T-30-45 there. But this has just been it's been a difficult battle for me because I don't feel like I've really contributed that much. The reality for me was just just watching all of these red tanks, and then getting all these shots out of, basically shots out of space. I'm not sure what it is, but I always wind up getting shot at by tanks I can't see. So at this point, I just said, forget it, I'm backing up. They're still shooting me, and then I bumped into this this Doug 3. I don't think he knew what to do, because he immediately backed up. Obviously, it wasn't an unintentional block, but I was just like, get me out of here. But the first thing I thought was, okay, so I got my shot off, or rather now at least I'm not taking incoming fire. Let me get around to where I can start shooting some of these red tanks that have been shooting me from space. I've got a line here on the Hellcat, Now, even with the gigantic bloom, I snapshotted him and got and got a hit. What cracked me up here was this this poor VK3002M just rolled backward down the hill right into the line of fire of that shot, and and boom. I mean, I don't know. I'm like I said, I prefer a more aggressive stance. I prefer to keep moving, keep contributing. But I managed to get a shot in on the Easy 8, managed to get a shot in, managed to finish the 3002M. Now I'm rolling up the hill here, taking my, taking aim uh, on that Hellcat, and finished him off as well. This is, this was a good exercise, I think. But it does really show some of the weaknesses of the ARL 44, because, man, it is just not, it's not a hard tank. I did bounce a few more shots this time than I did last time. Um, you know, I, I managed to get 10 rounds off, 90% accuracy. I'll take it. But the reality for me is that the most interesting thing about the ARL was that it's essentially the same tank it was before the 3.8 nerf. It's just not the kind of tank that you want to rely on for a lot of things. At the same time, the ARL 44's strengths and weaknesses become immediately apparent without some of the equipment choices that you could make. You can't see anything. The aim time takes forever to clear. The aiming reticle bloom time is just crazy. It move at all, and you just lose your focus. It has relatively soft armor, and then there's the relatively limited mobility. Like I said, I feel like the 3.8 nerf has been a challenge for a lot of people, but truthfully, the tanks just feel the same. All right, that's Rider Dude out. This has been Blue Collar Blitz, doing a before and after on the ARL 44. Have a great day. Bye.